Yeah.
Why not?
Donna
Oh, Kelly,
Hello.
it's so good to see you. I think last time I saw you, where was it? Gosh, in Tampa? Were you in Tampa?
Yeah, yeah. It could have been Tampa. Holy God, that's been like a year and a half.
It was at them over by we were doing that event with Caesars at
It was a lot of fun. I forget the name of
my brain is so fried.
I think it's called Kendra Scott, that one.
No,
no, it's this cool urban space down in Tampa on the water.
Oh yeah,
like
On the water.
Armature Works. Armature Works.
Yes,
Armature Works.
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, kudos. Yep.
But
Armature
it was
Works.
in a space, a rooftop space that was in a building catty corner, and we had like the outside and the inside, and that's when I got my Bluetooth glasses. No, my blue screen glasses. See, that's how Friday I am today, guys. I
like
like
that.
Zoom all day. My Bluetooth glasses, wouldn't that be
We can
cool?
help your eyes, not.
I'm so tired.
Hey, I wanted to say hello to Paula Breed. Paula, hi. You have your audio on?
Hi. Thanks for the invitation. I'm very excited to be here.
Great. Well, I don't think you've been on before. If you have, correct
Welcome
me, but if you have, you haven't been on often enough for me to remember, so that doesn't count.
Sorry.
Okay, we just want to tell you, I want to say I'm excited that you're here. So
Thank you.
keep it up. And we've got several new people with, so why don't we let folks introduce themselves if they're new.
Wonderful. Let's do it.
Y'all are not shy. I know
I'll
you're
start.
not.
Sorry, my
Okay.
mute's on. I'm not camera ready either, but I'm Rebecca Landfair with Raymond James. Thank you for the invite. Glad to
Hey,
be here.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, and you're very camera ready. You're standing in the middle of a vineyard with a
Mustard
glass of
season.
wine.
Oh my
How much
gosh.
more ready are you going to get? That's great.
I mean, I've got wine at 4, so.
There you go. Glad you're here, Rebecca. Tell everybody on your team. Come on, we're having some
Hi,
fun.
Rebecca. I haven't seen you in forever.
Hi,
It's Lisa
I
Pagano.
Nice to see you.
I can't believe you're still with Raymond James.
Neither can I. No, I'm kidding.
Y'all, I interviewed with Rebecca like 10 years ago.
Oh,
So I'm new to these calls, but I'm Lisa Pagano with Bristol Myers Squibb.
Well,
and I know a
hello,
bunch of
Lisa. You must be a friend of Kelly's or Lindsay's.
Yes.
We're very glad to know you.
Thanks for having me. I feel like I'm part of the crew.
Well, you are part of the crew. I mean, I was just telling the others, and I'll try not to be too ugly about this, but I was just on a webinar with a destination that should have been just super fun, and it was boring as hell. I'm like, here's the engagement, people. We know, we come on Wednesdays, we have some drinks, we talk to each other, we tell jokes, we dress up. It's good. It's all good.
We are recording this. You do remember, right?
Oh my gosh.
The stories do have to be somewhat careful. Not really. As long as you don't care that other people can see it, it's okay with us. So who else wants to say hi?
Hi, I'm Andrea Kinney. I'm with Total Brand Experience.
Hey, Andrea.
Nice to see you all.
Good to see you. Where do you
Great
live?
to see you,
Andrea?
Andrea.
Thank you.
Where are you from? Where you live?
I'm in St. Augustine, Florida.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
beautiful and sunny here, and I hope that doesn't make anybody mad.
We'll try to keep that to ourselves. It's beautiful and sunny here in North Carolina today. It was almost 70 and bright sunshine. It feels
Yeah,
a little
weather-
spooky.
Weather's been weird all over the place.
Yeah, well, I'll take it. I'll take this for sure.
Me
And I won't feel
too.
guilty either. So, well, thank you for coming, Andrea. We're glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Who else wants to say hi?
Hi, I'm Trisha Kasner, consultant with Barron's Magazine.
Where are you, Patricia? I hear you, but I don't see you.
Patricia, aloha.
In the corner there. Well, at least on my screen.
Well, oh, there she is. Okay, because your camera's not on, so you're just a big flow. Oh, there you are. Hey, Trisha.
Yeah,
Where are you from?
New York.
New York.
So-
Oh, we are broadening our footprint, Whitney. Isn't this exciting? We need to know all New Yorkers, Bostonians, and Texans. If there's anybody else from those markets, we want to know you. We want to know all your friends. Denise, hi.
Hi, I'm from New York.
Are you? There's two of you. Wow. Do you think we could put a live event together with just you guys and all of your friends? Because we're looking to do that.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
It's actually a nice sunny day up here today, too.
Yeah, great.
Feels like spring.
Wow.
Just a touch.
That's all really good news. Okay, Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay, everybody say hi to Lindsay Baylog. She's our Virgin limited edition person.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Lindsay.
Person.
Nice to see you all. So I think I will jump in if that's okay.
Well, wait a second, because we're going to do
Sure.
we're going to do our first five.
That's right.
Whitney, why don't you tell us who they are? Those of you who are new to the call, we have a little gift for the first 5 people who logged in today after 3:55. We do this every week, and it is generally a gift from our presenter. And in this case, I'm going to speak about this, Lindsay, so I hope you can make it happen.
Yes.
I think Lindsay's got a bottle of beautiful Mont Rochelle wine for each of you first 5.
We sure do.
That's very exciting. One of the
Very
better gifts.
exciting.
Beats the luggage tags, definitely.
Absolutely. And the good thing is too, you will see from Dustin, our winemaker, how it goes from the grapes into the bottle. So quite exciting.
That'll give you all a new appreciation of this wonderful wine. So Whitney, who's getting the wine today?
Right. So the first 5 are Katie Baker, Lisa Pagano, Rebecca Lamphere, Basia Border, and Donna Pullen.
Yay!
Yay!
So if you 5 would please email Carol your physical mailing address, and I'll put her email address in the chat box right here. Then Lindsay will send that, or actually the folks at Mont Rochelle will send that to you.
Yes.
All right.
Wow, how many months is that going to take, do you think?
Not too long, I'm hoping. Yes.
All right, so without further ado, we're going to do wine stories. Don't you forget that, but let's get the business portion done first.
Sure.
I'm very happy to have Lindsay Balog back with us for the 3rd time. I just think Sir Richard needs to keep buying really special hotels so we can have Lindsay back frequently, because every place that she has come to talk about, it's really been unique, and we all know what great taste this gentleman has. So she's going to introduce us to her partner in South Africa, and please say hi to Lindsay. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I do agree. I think Richard Branson he has a good eye. So hopefully more properties to come. We shall see. I'm just going to pull up my screen here. Bear with me. Okay. So hi everyone. My name is Lindsay Balog. I am the Regional Sales Executive for Virgin Limited Edition. And as you know, I am based out of New York on this nice, feels like spring day. So Virgin Limited Edition is Sir Richard Branson's collection of unique retreats and luxury hotels. They're located all across the world. So we have 4 properties in Africa, we have 2 in Europe, and we have 2 in the British Virgin Islands. So today I have the pleasure of introducing our wonderful general manager, James Besson. He is from Mont Rochelle, our beautiful hotel and vineyard property in Franschhoek, South Africa. So James runs the estate. He was born and raised in Cape Town. He has a very real passion for the business, and he'll tell you more about that later. And I'm glad he's here to walk you through the property. So later on, he'll share some history, information about Franschhoek and Mont Rochelle, and some suggestions for when guests are visiting South Africa. So at the end as well, James will answer any questions. And so I'd like James to just say a quick hello.
Thanks, Lindsay. Good afternoon, everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to join this webinar, and I'm looking forward to giving you guys a little bit more information about our incredible property and the very special place where Mont Rochelle is based in Franschhoek.
Thanks, James. So just to talk about what we have lined up today. So first we have a wine cellar visit with our winemaker, Justin Osborne. So the video was extensive, so I can send you the full video at the end, but we cut it down to the point where it's turned into the juice and then it goes for the fermentation process. So Justin Osborne, just a little bit about him. He is an accomplished winemaker. He's recognized in South Africa as one of the most promising new winemakers. So that will be our first venture. And then we will do a cook along with our chef, Garth Johnson. He's actually prepared a garlic and parsley salmon dish. So that pairs nicely with our Mika wine. So it was cut up into 3 sections. We kind of cut it down, but I will be sending the full recipe at the end. And then just to note, obviously these videos are pre-recorded. There is a curfew in South Africa that's in place at 11 p.m. right now. So just to point that out. But yeah, let's get started. First, I'm going to do a little video just to transport us all to Mont Rochelle. So just give me a second while I get that started. Okay, perfect. So now we are at Mont Rochelle. So we will head to our wine cellar. Just give me 1 second. Okay, and here is Justin.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mont Rochelle. My name is Dustin and I am the winemaker here at the property. I'm coming to you from Franschhoek in the Western Cape of South Africa. Behind me you can see the Franschhoek Mountains with the village just below it. So the view that you are looking at the moment is from our tasting centre, looking back towards the Franschhoek village. Mont Rochelle is a fully operational hotel and vineyard. So we do produce wines, and then we've obviously got the hotel as well as the restaurants that are on the property. I want to tell you also a little bit about South African wine and the history of South African wine. So South African wine are seen as New World wines. However, if you look at how long we've been making wine for, it's actually quite a long time. First grapes were planted in 1655, with the first wine being made in 1659. So there's a lot of history behind South African wines. If you skip forward to Franschhoek, which is the valley that where we're situated, our story begins in 1688, when the French Huguenots fled to this valley. And that's obviously why there's such a heavy French influence in the Franschhoek wine valley. Jacques de Villiers, one of the first French Huguenots to flee to the valley, was the one who signed the title deeds for the property that Mont Rochelle is on. So the history of Mont Rochelle dates back to 1688 as far as the land goes. Our first bottling was in 1996, and that was done by, still by the de Villiers family, but it was done by Graham de Villiers, who was an 8th generation descendant of Jacques de Villiers. He bought the property back into his family in 1994 and then set about setting up the winery and the vineyards. In the year 2001, Mika Rawateri purchased the property, and he was the first African wine farm owner to own a winery in South Africa. And then in July 2014, Virgin Limited Edition Group acquired the property. So Mont Rochelle has been part of the Virgin Limited Edition Group since July 2014. So that's just a little bit about the history of Mont Rochelle and how we got to where we were. What I want to do is to take you on a cellar tour. So we're just going to head through the tasting center and go up the stairs, and we'll head up into the winery. So please follow me. So as you can see, we've got the winery behind me, so it's just across the way from the tasting center. This is actually a heritage site, so it's a building that was built in the mid-1800s. That was originally a fruit packing shed, and it was converted into a winery in 1995. So we'll just head up into the winery, and then we'll begin with the cellar tour. Please excuse if there's any noise or if there's maybe a little bit of equipment in the way. We're actually busy with the harvest at the moment, so just excuse if there's some equipment lying around. Follow me. So here we are in the winery itself. As you can see, as I mentioned, it's a heritage site, so it's quite an old building. So it's not like a lot of the new, very, very modern wineries, you know, with all the stainless steel and all the modern railings and everything. It's a nice old traditional feel winery. So we're just going to head down to the end, and I'll just take you through a simple process of how we get the grapes from the vineyard and into the bottle. So let's just head this way. So this is our processing area. The tractor will reverse up with the grapes already pre-picked into harvest crates. The grapes are then put onto this sorting table, and the sorting table is obviously the grapes will go on the sorting table, and this is where we sort off any stems and any leaves and anything what we call MOG, matter other than grape. It'll go over this and it will fall into that conveyor belt, and it goes up the conveyor belt and then through the destemmer. Let me go and show you the destemmer quickly. So here we have the destemmer, and that conveyor belt that I showed you before, the berries fall, or the bunches fall into here, and you can see that there's this cage over here. This cage is spinning, and it hits all of the berries off of the bunches, and the berries will fall through, and then they get collected into a pump, where they are pumped through to this machine over here. So this is our press. So this is the machine that basically squeezes the berries and extracts the juice from the berries. It's a pneumatic, so we call it a pneumatic press. So if you do come a bit closer, you'll be able to see into the press, and it'll show you the bag and how it compresses and where it squeezes to. So that's basically the inside of the press and how it extracts the juice. Okay, from here, once the juice has been extracted, the wines will then be pumped through into any one of these stainless steel tanks that you can see all the way down here, which is where they will settle. The process I just explained is more for white wines. If you're looking at red wines, it will go on the conveyor belt into the destemmer, and instead of going straight into the press, it'll go into any one of these hanging tanks. If you look up in the roof, we've got 4 red wine fermentation tanks. So that's obviously how you extract the color and the tannin out of the berry, is if you leave the berries in contact with the juice during the fermentation, and that extracts the color. So we'll head this way, just further down the process. And I'm actually going to pour myself a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc juice it's actually from a block that was harvested 2 days ago and is busy settling. So you'll see how clear this juice is. So in this stage, it's still just 100% pure juice. It hasn't started fermentation yet, so it's got all of the sugars in there. So it's very, very sweet. You're looking at about 165 grams per liter of sugar. And when you taste it, it's just lovely freshness, lovely tropical fruit, but obviously that sweet flavor of the juice. It still needs to go through the fermentation process. So what will happen now is we'll pull the clear juice off of here and move it to another stainless steel tank. We will add the yeast, and then that will do the fermentation process. Fermentation basically involves adding the yeast and converting the sugars in the juice over into alcohol, which is how you get the alcohol into the wine. All of the tanks have got cooling on them, so we're able to cool down the fermentation temperatures. And there's a whole lot of other, technical details that happen with winemaking, but I'm just going through the general stuff at the moment. So from here, we head up into the barrel room, which is where all of our wines will go to mature. Can't get enough of this juice.
Perfect. Okay, so just a little bit about how the wine is made, and now we'll actually head to our kitchen. So let me just open up the other video we have here.
Lindsay and James, while we're on the topic of wine, how many wines are produced at the property?
So we produce. So currently we have we have 8 different varietals in our collection. Our flagship wines being the Miko Chardonnay and the Miko Shiraz or Miko Syrah. Those are our 2 flagships. We also produce I almost want to call it a lifestyle range, which is our Little Rock range, which is a great white blend as well as a red blend. Really delicious. And nice just to have an afternoon like you guys are at 4 o'clock this afternoon, having a glass of white. Real nice, easy drinking wine. And then we've got our Mont Rochelle range, which again is Chardonnay and Syrah. And then we've got a straight Sauvignon Blanc as well, and then also a Cabernet Sauvignon. So in total, 8 wines in our collection, but our flagships or our wines that we focus on, due to the type of cultivar and terroir that we have here, I should say, not cultivar, terroir, it's about Chardonnay and Syrah.
Okay, and one more question about that. Someone asked, is the Chardonnay wooded or unwooded?
It is wooded. So that's a great question. The Mont Rochelle Chardonnay, so not our flagship Chardonnay, is wooded, but it's only wooded for 6 months, so it's lightly wooded. Where again our flagship Chardonnay is wooded for 12 months, so slightly longer, a little bit more wood. But that's down to the quality of the wine. It can handle that extra time in oak.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, James.
Good. A little bit of interesting about wine. Sorry, Lindsay, to interrupt you there. Our harvest this year is a slightly strange harvest. Normally, we're harvesting about 120 tons of grapes a year, which equates to I'd say about 70,000 bottles a year that we are are making each year, where this year, unfortunately, due to the situation that we are in, we are only harvesting about 15 tons. So we are only going to be producing about, I'll probably say around about 10,000 bottles this year. So not as many as historically, and that's due to unfortunately the backlog of wines that we have due to the situation that we've been in South Africa, not being able to sell alcohol for a number of months last year. So slightly different here, but look, we've got to make the most of it.
Perfect. Thanks, James. And after this cooking video, maybe you can talk just a little bit about the Miko wine that will pair with the salmon dish.
Sure, absolutely, will do.
Okay, I will jump to the video here.
Good afternoon, welcome to Mont Rochelle Hotel. My name is Garth Johnson. I'm the executive chef of Sir Richard Branson's property in Franschhoek, South Africa. Today I'm actually going to cook you a beautiful dish from one of our restaurants. At Mont Rochelle Hotel, we've got two restaurants. We've got our flagship restaurant called Miko, and we've got a very casual, more relaxed restaurant, very close to the Cellar that you might have seen on your tour with Dustin, called the Country Kitchen. That's where you're going to get really great Franschhoek bistro-style dishes. The dish I'm cooking to you, as I said, is on the menu. Let me show you the ingredients. All right. The main ingredient will be Norwegian salmon. Along with that, we're going to have some crispy fried new potatoes, just sliced a little thick, but I'll tell you more a little bit about that later. Some fine beans, some cocktail tomatoes. You can use red, yellow, heirloom cocktail tomatoes, whatever you want. The point is that they're just as fresh as possible. Some lovely julienne sliced red onion. Right, and today we've got two sauces that we're going to pair with this dish. The first one, this is going to be, this is rather a garlic and parsley oil. So I've used a very, very good extra virgin olive oil. I've added a splash of lemon juice to that. That's going to be napping your fish as it cooks at a later stage. And this is just the classic Italian sauce, pesto. You can make your own or you can buy one at a deli. I'm sure at this point in time you can get extremely good qualities at most supermarkets. All right. So the most exciting thing about cooking this dish for you guys today is that it's going to be paired with a wine that Dustin has showed you earlier on. It's called the Miko Chardonnay. Absolutely amazing. All right, so let's get cooking. All right. Like I said to you guys, this dish is very easy to do. I'm literally going to need 3 pans. I've got 1 extra, just to be sure. So 2 frying pans and a saucepan for a poached egg later on. Okay. The very first thing you want to do is get your new potatoes in the pan. So for each dish, you're going to need about, for each person, you're going to need about 8 to 9 of these new potato discs. Just season as you go along. Alright, so what I've done, I've part cooked these new potatoes and then I've just cut them into discs. The thickness of the disc, really not important. The point is just make sure you cook your new potato not too much so that it breaks apart. If you can cut it with your knife really easily, then that's it 100%. Some people like it really thick, some people like it really thin. You know what, play with it and just go with it as you please. Alright, I'm just shaking my pan just to loosen up the new potatoes a little bit. So, the two items that are going into the pan first will be the new potatoes followed by the green beans. Now I haven't poached these at all, they're still fresh, crisp and really delicious. You can pre-blanch them if you really wish. That's going to speed up the whole cooking process when it comes to you catering for a little dinner party or lunch party. For me at this point in time, what I want is I want a beautiful roast on these green beans. It's just going to accentuate the lovely flavor and that's about it. Okay, so it's about time to get these green beans in. So I'm just spreading them around the new potatoes, not really on top of them. I'll show you in a minute why. Okay. So, guys, I've mentioned that we're going to do a poached egg as well. While this goes, while these new potatoes go, I'm just going to pop my my saucepan with water back on the heat again. As you can see, I'm getting a lovely rolling boil. So, poached eggs is probably seen as one of the most difficult things to do in a kitchen, but it honestly is not. The trick is having enough vinegar in your water. So what I do is I have about a quarter cup of white vinegar, and the cheap kind works very well, to about a liter of water. So that's really the key. The second thing you want to really focus on is make sure you have beautiful fresh eggs. We use free-range eggs here on the hotel and on the wine farm, so we never go wrong with these. Okay, I've got a rolling boil at the moment, and I'm simply just going to crack the egg into the saucepan. So when the fish goes into the pan, the skin shrinks and the piece of fish curls up a little bit. I'm just holding it down lightly. I'm not pushing it down, not giving it a lot of force. All I want is that the middle section of this fish, of the skin part, actually pushes down onto the pan, and it just makes contact with the pan and the oil. That's just going to make sure that the skin cooks through completely. Okay, it'll after about a minute it'll take shape, and there you go. It's not dangerous either. Okay. All right. At this point, I think my poached eggs are about done. They've been in for about 3 minutes now. Again, on a very slow simmer. I started out on a rolling boil with the poached eggs, and they've just kept simmering now. Okay, that's all you need. You don't want to end up with hard-boiled poached eggs. Okay. So, again, this is something that you can do before the time. All right? Look at that beautiful poached egg. See how it all comes together so beautifully. And I did absolutely nothing. It's the freshness of the egg, the vinegar and the water. Lovely. Okay. Grab the second one. Okay. Beautiful. I'm going to leave that pot on because I'm going to warm up this poached egg when it's plating time. Just a little tip. If you do the poached eggs any sooner than when I'm doing them at the moment, I'd advise you, instead of just keeping the eggs on the side, refresh them in some ice cold water. And just be careful because sometimes the ice cubes actually can puncture the egg and it'll defeat the purpose. So just enough ice in the water, chill them, dry them out just like I did the fish, and then keep it in the fridge. When you're ready with your entire dishes, drop it in some warm water. Just warm the egg up to your perfect cuisson, which is soft, medium or hard, and then serve. Alright, I'm just going to have a look at my new potatoes. Yeah, that's just enough color that I need. There we go. And now I bring those beans in. Lovely. Again, guys, I'm just going to say it again. This is a very rustic dish. Just beautiful. The amounts of the vegetables, you know, it's not a deal breaker. You're going to get some portions that have a little bit more beans than the others, but it really doesn't matter. It's all your preference, and I assure you, when that pesto hits this vegetables, it will just balance it out. It'll be absolutely beautiful. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, the last two vegetables that I have to go into my melange will go last minute. That's going to go into the pan when the fish is ready. Okay, so I can literally just push my pan of new potatoes and beans one side, and I'm going to focus all my attention on my fish now. This is about 160 gram portion. What that means is I'm going to need about 4 minutes on each side of this fish. That's going to end up with a beautiful medium cooked salmon. If you want the salmon cooked a bit more or a bit less, my advice to you is keep it 4 minutes to start off the fish on the skin side. You're going to have beautiful crispy fish. Adjust the time after you flipped your fish, when you're cooking your fish on its flesh side. That's going to really give you a lot more control when it comes to cooking your fish to the correct cuisson that you prefer. Okay. I just want to check that this fish isn't stuck to my pan and it's coming off beautifully. There we go. This is exactly what I wanted. The red onion has barely touched the base of the pan. It's just wilting. The cherry tomatoes just warming through. New potatoes crispy, green beans roasted. Absolutely amazing. Time for your pesto. And don't be shy with that pesto. At this point, you can take the veg off the heat. Just need to give it a gentle toss. Beautiful. Okay, don't forget to taste. I'm literally just tasting like the base of the pan. Amazing. Okay. My fish is still warm. Poached egg ready. Veg ready. Time to plate. Okay. when you work with such easy, simple ingredients to manipulate, you're going to end up with an amazing product, no matter what you do. I'm literally scooping these vegetables in the center of my plate. Right. Push it down a little bit because I know that I'm going to nestle the fish on top of that. But I want the fish to fall. Let me get that last green bean. Perfect. Come with the fish. Lovely. Remember that pan juices that I was telling you about? Never forget about? Lovely. Those go in there as well. That is an intensified salmon and garlic flavored oil. You do not want to miss that. Right. Last but not least, poached egg. Okay. Just adding a little bit on the blue cloth again, drying it off a touch. Okay, give it a splash of olive oil, crunch of pepper, as much as you need, a little bit of salt, messy seasoning again, and place your poached egg. I'm going to nestle this right next to it. Beautiful. All right, so just to your left here, I've got some garnish. Again, this is another opportunity for you to really be creative, and there's really no wrong answers. I've got some beautiful wild rocket, I've got some parsley leaves, and I've got some mustard leaves that I've just snipped in half. Right? They obviously work for, the mustard leaves work for amazing bit of color. I love the curl in the rocket, it just brings the plate alive. You know, the rule is if you try and place something on a plate and it falls, just leave it where it is. That's great. Don't try and fix it. Beautiful. Now, everyone thinks that cooking is my favorite thing to do. Not as much as eating. So, especially if I have a bit of Chardonnay. So, Dustin told me that this is absolutely the best pairing that he's had this year. So, I really don't think that. There we go. I really don't think that Dustin is one to exaggerate. Here we go. So let's check that poached egg. Beautiful. Just the way I like it. Amazing. Crispy fish. Can you hear that skin? Beautiful. Right, so I want to get a little bit of everything in that first bite. A little bit of yolk. Let's get a green bean. The richness from the adds to the yolk. The new potatoes cut, the pesto brings it up. The roasted garlic, absolutely amazing. Amazing. If you guys are interested, by the way, to get a bottle of Mico Chardonnay, just go into Cape Ardor. They are nationwide in the US. If you have any difficulty finding it on Cape Ardor, just go into the Mont Rochelle website where we do have a purchase in the US tab. Click on the tab and it will take you straight through to an online store in the USA. Guys, I've had an absolutely amazing time cooking this dish with you, for you, as a matter of fact. I really hope that you try it out. As I said before, we'll be providing the recipe to you. Please play with it. I've got ingredients on there, I've got the measurements, so forth. But just, you know, have fun with it. Use as much as you want. Use salmon if you'd like. Use your favorite fish if salmon isn't your favorite fish. This dish, the flavors work with everything. Just make sure that you have that bottle of Mico Chardonnay close by. I really hope to welcome your guests in the very near future, to welcome them to our amazing establishment here. And me, for one, am very, very happy to be able to cook for them one day. I just want to say thank you very much again for tuning in, and that's all from me. See you guys. Bye.
Sorry. There we go. So that made me really hungry. I think it did everyone else.
Lindsay, I think we're going to have to share the full video because I saw there were a lot of ladies wanting to see how to poached eggs, and the secret somebody was walking outside to get the freshest eggs outside. So it was all happening. So
absolutely, I am happy to share the full video.
Please do, please do.
Yeah, sure.
I love that type of thing.
And then we have the full video so you can see every single step. So yeah, I will pass it to James. I'm going to bring up our presentation, and maybe if you could just talk a little bit more about the Mico wine that pairs very well.
Great, I will do. Lindsay, while you're bringing that up, I will talk a little bit about the Chardonnay. So what's interesting in South Africa regarding wines and single varietals. So yes, the Miko is classified as a Chardonnay, but in South Africa, we are allowed to blend an additional a cultivar to a varietal as long as it's not more than 15%. Then we can still call it a straight varietal. So it's called a Miko Chardonnay, but it's 89% Chardonnay, 10% Semillon with 1% Viognier. So it's not your typical heavy Chardonnay. The Semillon and the Viognier adds a little bit of, I almost want to say, additional flavors to it, but it makes it slightly easier drinking. As I mentioned, it's 12 months in oak, French oak. Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. And as Garth mentioned on the video, it pairs beautifully with the salmon. But for that matter, you know, for that dish that that Garth was cooking, quite importantly is, even if tonight you don't have a piece of Norwegian salmon, it really works. That specific dish works beautifully with any cut of fish. So, and I guess the Chardonnay will work too. Look, as you can hear, I can talk about Chardonnay quite a bit and a Miko, but I guess we're going to run out of time. But it is delicious.
Okay, thank you for that. All
All
right.
right. Thanks, Lindsay. So just very quickly, the property itself, as you can see, Mont Rochelle, we're based in the Western Cape of South Africa. So when looking at the map, you know, we are in the Cape, and our nearest airport is Cape Town International Airport, and driving distance from the airport is anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. And it's a very safe drive. It can be done. It can be done self-drive, or obviously it can be arranged through a private transfer company. And then we also provide transfers to and from the airport if required to. Thanks, Lindsay. That's just to give you an idea of the incredible views that surrounds the property. Literally, the hotel is surrounded by the Dussenberg Mountains, so that's just the one side of the property. But as mentioned, it literally surrounds the entire estate, and no matter which room you're staying in, each and every room has got a stunning view of the valley. Thanks, Lindsay. This is just a little map of the property. So if you look on the left-hand side of the map, you will see the hotel area as well as the Miko restaurant that's based at the hotel. And then sort of just towards the middle of the map, you will see the winery, the Manor House, which is our private villa, which I'll talk about in a couple of minutes, and then also the Country Kitchen. The Country Kitchen is our second restaurant that we have on the estate. The estate itself is 32 hectares in size, with 15 hectares under vine. Just to give you a little bit of idea how the estate is. And from a distance perspective, the distance between the Country Kitchen and Miko restaurant walking is about 10 minutes. It's a great walk, and often guests do it. So it's not very far from the hotel. Thanks, Lindsay. I'll let you click on. So the hotel itself, we've got a 22-bedroom hotel divided into 5 different category rooms at the hotel, as well as a private villa called the Manor House. So we've got 4 Shiraz rooms, which is our lead-in rooms, which if you look at the top left, you will see a Shiraz room, beautiful little balcony, and 4 of those, as I say. Then we've got our 6 Merlot rooms, which is slightly bigger than the Shiraz room. It's got a sort of a seating or a lounge lounge area in the Merlot rooms. Then you've got the 6 Cabernet rooms. If you look at the bottom right, you will have an idea of what the Cabernet room looks like. Very open plan, bathroom, 2-bedroom. We've got 6 of those. Beautiful or larger balcony, nice hanging chair, nice outside area with, again, stunning views of the valley. Interestingly, all the rooms can be made into twins. So as I said, all of them can be made into twins, so there is no specific limitation to which rooms can be made twins. All the rooms come with complimentary minibars, and in the minibars you'll find Mont Rochelle wine with a variety of soft drinks as well as some other alcoholic beverages, and as I say, complimentary, and we will replenish it throughout your stay. This is just obviously the Shiraz and the Merlot rooms. After the Cabernet rooms, you will then move into your suites. We've got 2 different types of suites. We've got the Pinata Suite, which you're looking at now. We've got 4 of these, quite a bit larger, separate lounge area to bedroom. Obviously, quite a big space from a bathroom perspective. As mentioned, we've got 4 of these, and then moving up to our flagship rooms or our premium rooms is the Cup Classique Suite, which you're looking at now. We've got 2 of these, quite a bit larger, but what makes this special is both of these Cup Classique Suites have got a little heated private swimming pool in front of all of their rooms. There's complimentary Wi-Fi throughout the property. We use Africology amenities, real South African amenities, both in our rooms as well as at the spa. What you're looking at now is our private villa called the Manor House, which is definitely our premium accommodation on the estate. It can accommodate up to 8 adults and 6 kids. There's 4 suites in this house, which, as mentioned, can accommodate 8 adults. If you can flick through, Lindsay, to the next one. As mentioned, 4 suites, 8 adults, and it's also got the bunk room. If you look at the top right there, you will see a real fun little bunk room for the kids. It's two bunk beds, but with a queen on the bottom as well as a single on top. So 6 kids in there with the 4 suites. The Manor House, when you book it, you take it out on a half board basis. So you are provided with a chef who does breakfast for you in the house, as well as either a lunch or dinner. And then obviously all beverages are included throughout your stay too. The reason why we do half board in the house and not full board is because Franschhoek is synonymous or well known for its gastronomy offering in the valley. There are incredible restaurants in the valley as well as on wine estates surrounding us, and we're aware of that. So we understand that guests throughout their stay will definitely go out and enjoy what Franschhoek has to offer too. Just to give you these are just a few of the pics of the different rooms that we have in the Manor House. It's really stunning. The Manor House has got 2 private heated pools too, and there's a stunning, as you can see, dining area or social area, beautiful outside area. There's pool lounges. You get given a butler or a manager of the house who will take care of all of your needs. It's definitely premium. It's luxurious, and definitely the place to stay at the Manor House, especially if you've got families traveling. It's great if you've got a couple of families traveling, for that matter. More than enough space, the Manor House is stunning. I see there's a question there, and now what price is the Manor House? The Manor House goes at 70,000 Rand per night throughout the year. That's 70,000 Rand. So in dollars, you are looking at about, I'm going to quickly do my maths. I probably think you're looking at about $4,500 to $5,000 a night if I've got my exchange rate right. And then in peak season, over festive season, it goes at 120,000 Rand per night. Country kitchen. This is This is one of our restaurants. As you can see, it's stunning. The country kitchen is also where we do our wine tasting. Part of your guest stay that stay with us is a complimentary wine tasting of our wines. So anytime throughout their stay, they can pop up to the country kitchen, to the wine tasting venue, and taste a whole range of wines. And if we have a bit of time, which we often do, we can always pop your guests into the wine cellar where you saw Dustin, give them a bit of a mini tour to give them a real good feeling of what the winemaking and what the cellar's all about. The country kitchen is also an area where we do offer picnics too. So guests can do picnics. It's a great spot for lunch. It's wine tasting. So quite a bit to offer at the country kitchen. Thanks, Lindsay. Just an outside area of the restaurant, and as I said, lots of views. No matter where you are on the estate, the views are spectacular. This is our main restaurant, or our flagship restaurant at the hotel, called Miko Restaurant, M-I-K-O, same as the wine. Beautiful views. It's where your guests will have breakfast in the morning, and then also we have lunch available there in the terrace, or the glass box area, as we call this area. Obviously, we open up all the windows and the doors, and the idea is to really get guests to enjoy the outside fresh air and typically hot weather that we have here in the Cape. And then dinner time, Miko, I wouldn't call it fine dining, but it's a more formal restaurant with Garth preparing delicious cuisine for you. Thanks, Lindsay. We spoke about the wine cellar. Dustin gave quite a bit of information about that. The Franschhoek wine tram, I think what's important to give you a little bit of an idea, I briefly touched on the offering in Franschhoek. If you stay in at Mont Rochelle for 2 or 3 nights, families, groups, incentives, there's a lot on offer in the valley. You could easily have dinner with us on your first evening with us, and breakfast the next morning. After breakfast, we can take you down to the wine tram terminal. You can jump onto the wine tram, do a full tour of the valley, stop at 5 or 6 different estates. At one of those estates, you can have a delicious lunch. You can come back to the hotel in the evening, and you can decide to book a restaurant in town. And again, we offer complimentary shuttles to Franschhoek in the evening. So we can take your guests down to Franschhoek in the evening, and we can collect them back in the morning. What you're looking at now is just an area, or our dam area, where we offer picnics, but this is not the only area. There's a number of grass areas throughout Country Kitchen, and also at the hotel, where guests can enjoy picnics. Staying on the topic about what's available in Franschhoek, as mentioned, it's not just about food and wine. There's an incredible cultural offering in the valley too. There's beautiful art galleries, there's sculpture galleries, there's museums, there's motor museums, there's incredible shopping that's in the valley. So there's quite a bit to do with your guests in the valley if they are with us for a couple of nights. What's also quite good, sorry, Lindsay, if you can move on for me, please. If we've before I give you a little bit more info about what's on offering around the Cape, we've got a stunning spa, which I didn't mention, that offers a wide variety of body and facial treatments. We also incredibly kids friendly. We've got a little kiddies program called the Little Corkers program, which we think suits quite nicely with the wine, where we do blind juice tastings. We do a little treasure hunt. We do all sorts of kids activities with them at the estate. So lots on offer there too. Franschhoek itself, can be a great add-on and Mont Rochelle for that matter, for your guests that are staying around Cape Town. Cape Town has got such an incredible offering. From you can see Table Mountain there, great restaurants, incredible history. You can see Robben Island in the background, top left. You can see Robben Island in the middle of the ocean there. There's obviously wonderful hotels in the Cape. I mean, I can mention a couple of good hotels that we can potentially partner with. You've got obviously your well-known ones in the waterfront, the one and only, the Table Bay, the Cape Grace, which are obviously very, very well-known, iconic. Then slightly out of the waterfront, you've got the Mount Nelson, which is very well-known. And then further out, if you want to go towards Camps Bay side, you've got a stunning hotel called the 12 Apostles Hotel. So there's a lot of offering in the Cape too. And then an hour's drive from the Cape, you can spend a couple of nights in Franschhoek with us, enjoy the winelands, enjoy what we have to offer around there, and then the itinerary can be extended further on. Obviously, safari up in the Sabi Sands. We've got the beautiful garden route. So there's a lot on offer in South Africa. There's a lot of options, there's a lot of diversity, and there's a lot of variety. You can literally come to one country and pretty much experience everything. I think that's about it, Lindsay. If you can just move on. I don't think I've left anything out. Just some more stunning views of the valley. As I mentioned, there's a lot on offering. This is an important slide. Thank you. I mentioned about the shops in Franschhoek. The Huguenot fine chocolates, top left, is stunning. There's walking trails by the nearby nature reserve. There's incredible golf courses. There's a lot of outdoor activities too. And for those guests who are really active, there is mountain biking trails. There's a lot on offer in the valley.
Perfect. Thank you. And then just the pricing, I know we did have questions on that, so you can see that here. And I did list the US pricing there as well and what is included. And obviously that can be customized. We can work on the itinerary for the guest stay. So I think there might have been some questions here too. Let's see. 1 second. Oh, yes. James, do you want to mention the helicopter option arrival?
Yes, absolutely. So we do have an option for those guests that would like to do that. We are very happy to accept helicopters landing at the estate. So for those guests that do want to fly in out of Cape Town, they can definitely do that. And there's sort of 3 or 4 well-known helicopter companies in the Cape, and yeah, we do that. We can definitely welcome helicopters to the estate.
Perfect. I'm just trying to look here if there's any more questions for James.
I was looking too, Lindsay. What a beautiful property. Wow. It's just
Thank you.
Stunning. Just stunning. James, thank you so much for giving us the rundown of everything. And I think so over here, it's right before dinner and we're all just salivating from chefs, like wonderful salmon dinner. And so I think we got a little distracted on the recipe, but what a beautiful property that really looks like home. I can't get over the fact that all of these rooms, all the accommodations look very homey, very comfortable. Even though we know it's very high luxury, it's also very tactile and very comfortable.
Yes,
absolutely.
I always say that with the Virgin Limited Edition properties, that's definitely the style, comfortable luxury, from Necker to Kasbah in Morocco, and of course to Mont Rochelle in Franschhoek. So yes, that's a great way to describe them.
Lindsay, I saw there was a question from Marina regarding if there's any group venues for meals. The answer is absolutely. We cater and welcome groups in our restaurants, and we will make sure that they've got a sort of a private allocated area for themselves. So no, we can definitely cater for groups in both of our restaurants.
What's the timing? What's the timing like? You said that earlier that you're kind of shut down right now. When do you look to open up, and what do you expect your season to be like at that point? Do you expect a rush of people, or are you backed up, or do you have a backlog of groups?
Well, look, yeah, it is a great question. Currently, as things stand, we are operating over weekends only now, so Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays currently. And to be honest, that is the common thread now in Franschhoek throughout all the properties and restaurants. Unfortunately, there's just not enough of a demand between a Monday and a Thursday midweek, because we obviously can't welcome any international travelers yet. A lot of countries are still in shutdown or lockdown, so they can't travel and actually get here. So while the local South Africans have supported us brilliantly over this period, they're obviously working midweek and their kids are at school. So weekends are ticking over beautifully. Obviously, with the vaccination rollout throughout the world, there's a lot of optimism that's been spoken about in the tourism trade in South Africa, that we're all hoping that by August, September, we'll see a bit of an uptake. And by the time we get to October, November, it'll be better. And as I say, holding thumbs that December, we'll have a really, really busy season, that once our international travelers have got the confidence to travel again, and to come to us. So I wish I had a glass board in front of me to give you an exact outlay or outlook of how things are going to happen, but that's our best guess.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
James, I have a question similar. Is it a seasonal area of South Africa? Are you a seasonal resort? And if so, where do the seasons break and what are the weather differences?
I would definitely say we are from an international travel perspective. Our busiest season starts about October every year and runs till about Easter time. That's our busiest 6 months. And that is typically our hot summer months, October till Easter, with winter starting, autumn starting April, and then into the height of winter being May, June, July, August, which is our quieter months. So our busiest time is October through to April, quieter between sort of end of April leading towards August. And the weather from a summertime perspective can get really, really hot. I can already see towards the back end of this week we are up to 40 degrees Celsius again this weekend. So really hot. Where in the winter time it can get chilly, and we can get days where it's sort of about below 10 degrees Celsius. It does snow on the higher parts of the mountains, as you can see ahead of us there, the mountains. But that happens maybe once or twice a winter, where we get snow on the top parts of those mountains.
Thank you very much. Got it.
All right. Well, we are back. Thank you so much, Lindsay and James. James, what time is it there?
It is now just after midnight.
Well, everyone, please give James a hand. Thank you so much for your participation.
Thank you, James.
We don't take this lightly.
No worries. Look here, absolute pleasure. It's been my pleasure joining you. And obviously, if you have any further questions, please do let Lindsay know or myself. I'll gladly answer a couple of questions.
Thank you so much.
For a minute, James, if you have the time, because we have one of our planner guests, Marika Emerton, is from South Africa and has some personal stories to tell. So we'd love to have you hear those. Marika?
Thank you, Carol. Bear with me while I try and share my screen. I had a quick tech run with Whitney earlier, so if it doesn't work, I'm going to ask Whitney to share it. So hold on a second.
I think it's time for everyone to take a sip.
Yes, I realized the camera was on me while I did that, so it's monkey see, monkey do.
Whitney.
I call it a Zoom pause. Marika, so you just share your screen and then just go to your desktop. Share screen is the green button at the bottom.
Yeah, I've done that. And earlier I got the desktop straight away and now it's gone.
Oh, no.
Share.
All right.
Nope.
We got you.
Whitney, can you share on my behalf? I'm lost.
I can go to my.
Anybody got a wine story in the meantime while we get our technical issues solved? We said we wanted to hear them.
That's
Anybody
right.
got an embarrassing or lovely or romantic or interesting story?
I'm pulling it up, Marika.
Okay. Get the main screen now.
I have one. It's Basha.
Go ahead.
Okay.
It's probably none of the above, but it's really interesting because you had mentioned earlier about shipping wine. Well, we went on I wasn't working, which was glorious. So we went on a Windstar River cruise with some really good friends of ours. And we were in Sicily for kind of a day luncheon event. And at that luncheon event, our good friends are building a winery in Fredericksburg here, but they are very interested in wine. So we were living in Alabama, which is a kind of a dry state. So you can't really, it's very difficult to send wine there. So we were at Gambino Vini Winery and we ordered a bunch of wine through them because we go to Texas. We were in Texas a lot. Anyways, just to cut to the chase, we were there in August, so they couldn't ship the wine until it got a little bit cooler, which was in November, December. So I was so excited waiting for this case of wine, and she was going to deliver it to my daughter in Houston. And we picked it up and I opened it and there were 12 bottles of wine and they were all empty. They sent us I don't know if there was like a defect. So anyways, you can imagine how long that took to work it out. But what happened is ever since then, which is probably about 7 years ago, in the fall, they send us an empty case of wine.
No.
And send us a full case of wine with like all of their like signature new. It's hilarious. And it just comes routinely. Like, I don't even know, like, I'm not kidding. It's come for 7 years now in the fall. Isn't that a crazy story? I mean,
it's amazing.
We appreciate it, but
that's awesome.
They always send the blanks and then they send us on the back of it. The full case.
Trying to get you to believe.
Yep, that's right.
I thought maybe your UPS driver treated himself on the way there.
He deserves it.
Kevin, where have you been, Kevin? You're muted. We're lip reading you.
I am here. I had another call, so I was a little bit late. I've been on for about a half hour.
Nah, well, we haven't seen you in a while. We just miss you, so we wanted to shout out.
Yeah, I'm here. I wanted to see the property.
Oh, well, I hope you saw it. Lindsay can send you the presentation if you missed anything. It's
can.
lovely. Take us all there.
Yes.
I feel like it's perfect for a house party, Kevin.
I am ready. Okay, I am ready.
Well, it's not that expensive, and we'll all be glad to join you.
Can I take 20 of my closest friends?
As long as it's all of us, right here. Down to about 14, that gives you some room for your other friends.
I'm good. Count me in.
Marika, are you ready now, honey?
I think Whitney was going to share the screen on my behalf.
Well, count us in too. It's only. What did
Yeah,
you say? What did you say, Lindsay? It's only like 20,000 a day or something like that.
The pricing for exclusive use is about 20. Let me just give you the exact number. So low season, 21,000 per night, and then high season being 29,000.
See,
that's a bargain.
And how many people does that hold?
So there's 26 rooms total, and we can do up to, so that's 52 people.
See, it's a deal. It's a bargain.
It is. So you can bring 51 of your closest friends.
Okay, he needs the Manor House. Okay, Marika, are you ready?
Whitney said she was going to share it on my behalf.
I cannot, I'm sorry, I cannot get my PowerPoint to open right now. It seems that Microsoft is trying to download.
I know. I'm having. I'll try one more time.
Okay,
Otherwise,
thank you.
Because Marika has her wedding stories and her niece's wedding story, and oh my goodness, so charming.
Well, in the meantime, I'll share my favorite wine story. When I was in college, I worked at a vineyard part-time. It was like literally one day a week. It was a Friday afternoon. And I would go from my morning classes to the vineyard, and I was like a tasting room attendant, and I did marketing on the side. And it was this gorgeous vineyard out in the middle of nowhere in Texas. And the hotel where I worked full-time decided that they just couldn't be without me on Friday nights in football season, because everyone in the hospitality industry, right, has one of these stories. My front office manager could not be bothered to have to walk somebody, and he wanted me to be the person to do that. And so I would literally be in the tasting room from 12 to 6, and then I would get in my pickup truck, drive down the dirt road and go to the hotel, probably, like 3/4 of a bottle in myself, to handle all of the irate guests for the evening on football weekends.
Oh no.
It was great. I really didn't care. So my college wine story, all of them.
Or did they at least give you a decent car?
No, that was the pickup.
Hotel work is easier when you are drinking a little bit.
Oh yeah, totally. I really had no problem with these Friday nights.
We used to call it bug juice, and we'd have like a margarita next to our desk and call clients.
Hey, Carol, Whitney, I will just share my story, and then we can maybe share the photos later with the group.
Well, we've got your email up on the screen.
Will that work?
It was attached. It was attached to the email this morning.
Marika, we can see your screen now. We can see your
yeah, can you
Gmail screen.
Can you stop sharing your screen, and then can you go to your desktop, share your desktop, which is where your PowerPoint was?
Yeah, that's perfect.
So you go back. Okay, now hit the green share screen button again, and then check when it comes up, when all your choices come up, click desktop.
So this is what I can see right now.
Just be careful. Hope you don't have anything that you don't want everybody else to see.
Exactly.
That's only you, Kevin. That's only you.
Hey, I'll just tell my story quickly, if that'll work.
Okay.
All right. So I was very lucky to study in Stellenbosch University. My parents immigrated from Holland and were going to come to South Africa just for 3 months, but they loved it and they decided to stay. And we lived, like I said earlier, outside the Kruger National Park. And then they said, well, you can go to university, but it can't be one in the province that we lived in. So I picked Stellenbosch University, which is probably about 25 minutes away from Franschhoek. Oh, there we go. Somebody's found it. Thank you, Whitney. Stellenbosch is the second oldest town in South Africa. Cape Town was the first town, and then Franschhoek was founded a bit later. I won't go into any background on Franschhoek because that was all covered. So next slide, Whitney. When I got to university, within 2 weeks of getting there, I met my husband, Jerry. And long story short, we got married after both graduating from Stellenbosch. So we were babes straight out of college, university when we got married.
You look so cute. Like you.
In September, next one. Thank you.
We're looking at how cute you are.
Yeah, we are.
Back in the day, right? So my family moved to the US in 1994. My 3 sons were born in South Africa, and then they were 7, 11, and 13 when we moved here, and married lovely American girls. And in November of 2019, we went back to South Africa with the whole family to celebrate my niece's wedding. And this picture is as we're flying into Cape Town. Cape Town has got the whole Cape area has got magnificent beaches. Clifton Beach is one of the most famous ones where the rich and famous go. And this is some of my grandkids playing around on Clifton Beach. Clifton is on the Atlantic Ocean, and the water is very cold on that side of the ocean. Okay. So we were in South Africa right the week after South Africa won the World Cup rugby. And that's where South Africa beat England. South Africa's won the World Cup rugby 3 times in 95, 2007, and 2019. And 95 was just after Mandela took power. And he used rugby to help unite the whole country. And he embraced rugby and brought the country together. So there was so much excitement right after that. And those are 2 of my sons playing on the rocks in the wind, because the Cape can get very, very windy. Okay, next one. We stayed at Botten Wine Estate, which is basically halfway between Stellenbosch and Franschhoek. Franschhoek actually means French corner. That's what it's named after. And so this is probably about 20 minutes away from the Virgin property we saw earlier. Okay. All right. So they have 45 famous wineries, and they're known for their cuisine, as James said earlier. On the right-hand side is my son, Jason, and my eldest grandson, Nathan. So Jason was MC for my niece's wedding. In England and the colonies, you don't have DJs managing the wedding. You pick somebody, and she picked Jason. And Jason and the bridal parties all went on the wine train the day before. So they partied quite hard, and we were walking in Stellenbosch the next day in Jonkershoek Forest, and Jason was very hungover. So he put his head in the river, and Nathan said, "What you doing?" He says, "Wait, I'll baptize you too." So Jason was trying to recover from his hangover, which they call babalas in South Africa. And so Nathan wanted to be baptized as well. Okay. This is the area map of Franschhoek, sort of sky view, and you'll see Mont Rochelle on the far right-hand side. There are so many mountain ranges around this area, and just Franschhoek has 45, but there are over 2,000 wineries in sort of the Stellenbosch, Paarl, Cape Town area. So it's very, very popular for wines. One of my favorite wineries was Neertlingshof. So being a student in Stellenbosch, you could just hop on your bicycle and go wine tasting, or go in your car, wherever you wanted to go. And in those days, wine tasting was complimentary. It's very famous for the Pinotage wines, and my absolute favorite wine is the Outpost wine. And the Pinotage only grows in the Cape area. It's a great varietal wine. So Outpost comes from the Neertlingshof winery, what you're looking at over here. And that was about a 15-minute bike ride from Stellenbosch. Okay, next one. You can see all these wineries are unique. They're not nearly as commercialized as the wineries in Napa are, and I don't say it in a bad way. They're just rustic and nestled in the mountains, and the food is excellent. You'll see on the right-hand slide there, it shows you how far you are from New York, London, Hong Kong, and Cape Town. Just to give an idea of, and they're all nestled and tucked away in the mountains. Those are my 3 sons and my husband. And this is at Botten Wine Estate, where we stayed for my niece's wedding. And that's the Helderberg Mountain in the background. And Stellenbosch is nestled below the Helderberg Mountain. There's also a lot of wildlife and fauna and flora. This is now some more pictures of Botany, and you can just see every wine estate is absolutely stunning. It's so hard to choose one that is a really great one. You just fall in love with it and you don't want to come back. Next one. This was my niece's wedding, and it took place at Zorgvliet Winery, which was like 5 minutes from Botany Winery. Zorgvliet means in Dutch, flee your sorrows. So another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venue, as you can see. Next one. South Africa, as you know, is known for its famous game reserves. There are plenty close by. Literally, you have the most beautiful venues that you can stay at. And a lot of them have outdoor showers, and you can be showering outdoor and just see the animals in the rivers. And the views are absolutely stunning. And you can see there's 3 of my grandkids just looking at some wildlife, some warthogs along the river there. Next one. Okay, so it was a trip of a lifetime for my sons and their wives and the grandkids. This is actually Jan Smuts Airport, or Oliver Tambo as it's known now in Johannesburg, on the way out. You can see the sculptures made out of metal over there, and they have a statue of Mandela. You can shake the hand. I mean, he did a phenomenal job in leading the country. I think that's the last one. One more, Whitney. There we go. Now we're flying out of Johannesburg with a night view. You saw the first one flying into Cape Town. My heart is there. When I left the country, my sister-in-law said, how do you feel about going to? I'll always have one foot in each continent. And that's exactly where I am. So that's my story. And I didn't have to dress up today. So that was good.
A marvelous job. That was so personal. And we so much appreciate that, Marika. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing all that with us.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Well, if no one else has any drunken tales.
Okay. If no one else has any, I have a lot, but
okay, go for it.
You know, Sam's got something in their hairpiece.
I have a crazy one. When I was 16 years old, okay, I lived in Canada, so drinking age was 18. So 16, you were drinking, right? So I was going to a party, and I was in charge of wine, and I had a backpack on, and I took my bicycle over to the store because I don't think I could drive yet. And I had a bottle of, I don't know if y'all know what Matus is, but it was this wine that we could afford. So I put the bottles of wine, I was in charge. So I had 3 bottles of Matus in my backpack. And when I got into the house, back to my parents' house, I was in the garage and I was bending down to do something. And the 3 bottles of wine fell over my head out of the backpack and smashed into the garage of our house.
Oh.
And my parents heard the bottles all crashing and came to the door. Well, you can imagine what happened after that. Yeah, those are early wine drinking.
And you showed up to the party empty-handed.
Oh yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was going nowhere. Yeah, no, going nowhere.
That's a good one.
That was memorable.
Carol and Whitney.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Carol Nall.
Can you all see my
look,
yes.
You see that?
Your head is right in front of all those wine bottles.
So that was, I don't remember much, but that was 3 girlfriends of mine, and those are dead soldiers. And it was a luncheon that started at 12 with 3 people and ended at 8 in her backyard. It was only supposed to be from 12 to 2, but that's 4 dead soldiers, and there were plenty more. And I don't remember it too much, but it was recent. It was recently, and so I am owning up to that. But that's not my story. My story is it's really a fun story. My nephew graduated from Sonoma State. Anybody knows Sonoma State University?
That's a fun school, though.
Yeah. And so I went to his graduation, and we were going around the campus, and all of the dorms are like Chardonnay. I live in Beaujolais. I live in Cabernet. And I was like, wow, this is so fun. So we go to the graduation and it's all outside and it's hot. And everybody, you know, all the schools come in and they say, you know, everybody stay in the School of Business and the School of Economics, the School of Education, the School of Wine Management. Woohoo! And everybody just throws their hats. And it was just like, that's where everybody goes, is to Sonoma State for wine management. And that those people were so fun, throwing their hats, taking off their robes. And so that's my wine story from Sonoma State.
Carol, I have a degree in wine mismanagement.
You can all tell a hospitality industry professional in their embryo stage, right?
Wow, yeah. So that was super fun. Yeah. So those are my stories.
Good.
That's great.
And what degree did your son get, Carol?
Sorry? Oh, sorry.
Me, that was my nephew.
Okay, what did
marketing?
Marketing. Okay. Well, he got a minor woo, right?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Okay.
minor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're down to 14 people. Would anybody care to know what Kelly thinks about her giveaway today?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
anybody else have a good wine story? Sam, how
game
do you not have a good wine story? You have a faux hawk.
Yeah, I have too many to share.
You know, I've lived in Australia twice, and wine is such a big part of just being there. I mean, it's like an everyday, every night you're drinking wine. I can't think of any stories really. I mean,
well, tell me about this situation.
Oh, this is a
Yes.
Kenti. This is a Kenti print cloth, which
Okay.
is an African print. So it's just a headband that I had.
Okay.
So I wore it. And I did a
They're
faux
really
hawk. 'Cause
cool.
I wanted to do a faux hawk, but I really don't have any wine stories. Like when you live in Australia, like it's a daily, it's a nightly. When I come, even when I've gone to visit, I'd bring coffee from the US, and I always brought the same decaf coffee, and we drink tons and tons and tons of wine, and then we drink decaf coffee. And that's kind of the secret of getting through every night of this massive wine drinking. And then you drink the decaf, and then the next day you're fine and you do it again the next night. So, I mean, I
Been all my life.
Many really great stories, and I'm sure it's probably because I don't remember them.
Well, I think that was a very essential story. So thank you for sharing.
Okay. All right. Can we wrap up now? Anybody
Yeah,
else? Kelly, I just want to thank you for having this great idea, because I do think that we should be more storytellers every Wednesday. And I think it's just a really fun format. So thank you for having the idea. It was a great idea.
Yeah, no, this has been a lot of fun. I think that Lindsay takes us to some amazing places, right?
Yeah.
So we certainly get to do her the honor of sharing some stories with her too. So
I
thank you,
love
Lindsay.
the stories. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Most Lindsay, I thought, Lindsay, I don't know that you're going to be able to fill up an hour. We got to have some storytelling. And she goes,
I
no.
know. We filled it up. Yes, lots to talk about.
We
Well,
did,
they
and my wines are still coming from Mont Rochelle, and I'm looking forward to them. So thank you.
How you like them?
I will. We've got a friend coming in town. I'm going to pair it with the recipe. Once you send that to us, I'm going to make chef's recipe because that looked great, and I'll send you the whole thing.
That sounds
so.
I have a quick question. You said you can go into a wine store. In what region am I looking at when I'm looking at to find your wine?
So to order it, the best place you would have to order it. So I can send you the link. Yeah, it's actually on our Virgin Limited Edition website under Mont Rochelle, and there's a link there that you can order in the US, and it comes from a distributor in California. So that would be the best way to do it.
I would love to get that.
Yeah, of all of them listed.
Yeah, I just put that company in the chat box for you.
Just put Mont Rochelle in the search bar for Cape Ardor distributors, and they have almost all but one of the varieties on their website. Then some of them are reasonable.
Yes, you can try them all.
Lindsay,
Have a
I
reunion
have
where
a
we've all
question.
tried and cooked our salmon and maybe have a little dinner party together. That'd be good.
Way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Lindsay, I have
what did
I have a
you think
question.
this week? You have a pair of sunglasses to give away?
Sorry, someone was asking a question.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
so I had a question. If can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So Lindsay, do you do tours if we wanted to do something for our high-end wealth clients? Could we book something like this and order wines to be shipped to them ahead of time, that kind of thing? Do you do that sort of thing?
Absolutely, definitely. And we could always invite James or Dustin to join as well. Yeah, of course. That sounds great.
Okay, perfect. I'll get your contact information from Carol.
That sounds good.
She's got many
Wonderful.
places that you could take people to without ever leaving the comfort of your home.
Yes.
Love her on speed dial.
Hey,
She's
Carol,
got- Yes, sir.
sometimes, you can share pictures and you don't have to tell a story. And so I will do that if I can
Oh boy.
share this picture. I don't think I need to say anything, do I?
Be careful, Kevin.
Oh, God.
And you figure the story out for yourself. Is that
Yeah,
it?
yeah. How does that look like a day well spent or a few hours well spent?
Very well spent. That looks like a day of
morning.
You're doing us proud, Kevin. You're not letting us down, buddy.
Is this your own personal table, Kevin?
I have a few, so I thought it would be too ostentatious to show you my cellar, so I elected to just show a little bit of a tasting.
My only comment is some of those glasses are still full.
Oh, it's not over yet. Lindsay.
I was going to recommend that you have a fire sale and get rid of some of that wine in your cellar so you could take us all to the estate and let us have a party.
So I'm down to under 100 cases, so I'm doing good.
There you go.
Good Lord.
Wow.
COVID.
All right. Well, I'm driving up to Kevin's
exactly.
house.
COVID.
You can expect me in 6 hours. Thank you.
Me too.
And in the meantime, I think that my overwhelming option today, or my choice today, is Marieke with her beautiful story of falling in love, getting married, and then returning with the family to South Africa. So thank you very much for sharing that. And we'll do a lovely pair of sunglasses to pair with the wines.
Thank you
very
Kelly.
much.
And my son, who was the MC, who was hungover, he really did have a buddy moon for his honeymoon.
Oh, he did?
He went to Aruba with his wife for 2 nights, but he gets bored so quickly. Then he invited 20 other people to join him for a buddy moon.
That is great.
Okay, so I guess that this is happening, everybody on the call. So we'll work it out with Lindsay and get this on the calendar.
Well, while we still have an audience, I want to tell you we're having another party next week. We are celebrating the Breakers' 125th, I believe it is. Now I can't remember.
Oh, wow.
125th birthday. And so we're going to take you back to the not the Belle Epoque era, but the era of the golden era of the 20s and 30s. If you want to dress, come in that spirit. If you want to just come for a birthday party, you can do that. Bring your little paper hats and your little tweeters. We are going to be having Bruce Leet, who's a longtime partner of ours. He's going to take us on a tour of the Breakers, and we're going to celebrate their birthday together.
You look beautiful, Carol.
Thank you. That's a nice thing to say.
Fabulous. Wine suits Carol. Wine down Wednesdays.
Oh, God.
On today.
You look beautiful.
Well, guys, you guys have been troopers today. We still have 11 of you, and it's 5:30, so we love you for that, and we love the engagement. So hope that you'll be back next week with some cupcakes or something sweet, at least some wine.
Thank you.
It was a great time. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Lindsay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marieke.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Have a nice
See you next week.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you much.